Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Luke Swinkels and this is lesson 2 on how to compose classical music for dummies. In this lesson we will first revisit last week's topic, then we'll go over how to name notes, that's part 2. I will introduce you to the term enharmonic and we will learn a method on how to construct a major scale. So first, last week, in lesson 1 we talked about the clefs, about G clef and F clef. We also talked about the time signatures 3/4, 4/4 and 6/8, how to count the notes and how to name the notes. If you have not seen lesson 1, I suggest you do before watching this second lesson. So last week we learned how to name the notes. Can you name the notes that are numbered from 1 to 8? You can pause the video if you like. So, the first note is in G clef. Always look for clef first. And G clef says that the second line will be an F. So the first note already is an F. The second note is 1, 2, 3 steps above the G. Because the first note is the G. So G, A, B, C. The second note is the C. The third note is 2 steps above the C, C, D, E. Fourth note, 2 steps above G, G, A, B, and the fifth note is a G again. Second line is the G. I do not know if I said it wrong the first time, but G clef says the second line is a G. So the sixth note is not a B, because now we are in F clef. And F clef means that between these two dots on the fourth line is an F. And the sixth note is 2 steps below F. So F, E, D. Sixth note is a D. Seventh note is 1 step below the D, it would be a C. And the eighth note is a D again. And here are the answers given. Well, I do not expect you to fully know all the notes by memory, but you should be able to count them out after you know the reference notes, the G or the F. Now, in lesson 1 we talked about G and F clef, but here in this example we have something new. We see an F hashtag, and today I will talk about those hashtags. So, if we take a look at the piano or the accordion, we already know the notes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and after G comes A again, right? And these are the white keys on the piano, but we also have black keys. And these are what we call the sharps and flats. So first the sharp. A sharp is a kind of hashtag symbol and it makes the note 1/2 step higher to the right on the piano. So F sharp means we take an F and make it 1 small step higher. And this note is called F sharp and notated as F hashtag. So C sharp means we take a C small step higher, we get C sharp. We also have a flat, and that's the opposite. A flat is a kind of letter B symbol, and it makes the note 1 step lower to the left on the piano. So B flat means we take a B, make it a small step lower, and now we have B flat. And the same as for G, take the G 1 step to the left on the piano, we get G flat. It's 1 step lower. But wait. F sharp and G flat is the same piano key, and this is because they are the exact same note. And the difficult word in music when we have two notes that are the exact same is called an enharmonic. So F sharp is the exact same as G flat, and so we call these two enharmonics of each other. Same as with D sharp and E flat, they are the exact same notes, those are enharmonic of each other, and also A sharp and B flat. The notes, you can use both names. So, do you know the enharmonic of G sharp? Well, let's first see where G sharp is. G sharp, 1 step higher, and it is between G and A, right? So G sharp is the same as A flat, right? It's important to know and to remember that there is no black key between E and F and between B and C. So, and this might be a bit difficult, but B sharp means we take a B, make it one small step higher, and we get to the C. So B sharp is enharmonically the same as C. It is the exact same note. And F flat is the same as E. Those are just two notes that you spell differently, but they sound the exact same. Now, let's talk about the major scale. And this is the most important scale in Western classical music. First, a scale is a group of notes ordered by its own formula in steps. And the formula for the major scale is 1 1/2, 1 1 1/2. So what do I mean with this formula? Well, 1 1/2 means the steps between notes. The smallest possible step is a half step. So from C to C sharp to D, D, E sharp, all half steps. E to F is also an half step because we have no black keys between E and F. Really important to remember. A whole step are two small steps together. So from C to D is a whole step. From D to E, from E to F sharp to G sharp to A sharp is a whole step. A whole step are two small steps together. And to make a major scale, we start on a note and complete the scale with the formula. So let's do an example. We do G major. Let's make the G major scale. So first we notate the bass notes, all the white keys, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and we will check if the formula is correct. So, do we have a whole step between G and A? Yes, because between G and A is a black key, so G, G sharp A, or G, A flat, A, because of enharmonics. Two small steps, so this is a whole step. Between A and B also is a whole step, but because between A and B we have a black key, right? So a half step between B and C, yes, because there are no notes between B and C. This already is a small step, already a half step. Between C and D there is a whole step because between C and D is a black key, so C, C sharp, D, two small steps will be a whole step. We have a whole step between D and E, but we do not have a whole step between E and F. So we need to fix this. And we also do not have a half step between F and G, because between F and G is a black key. So right now it's a whole step. So the distance between E and F must be a whole step. So we make it an F sharp instead, because now between E and F sharp is a whole step, and from F sharp to G is now a half step. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G is the G major scale. In the next lesson we will go over another method to construct a major scale, but for now we will use the formula. So let's do another example. Now we can do the F major scale. So first, all the bass notes, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. And now we check. Do we have a whole step between F and G? Yes, because there is a black key between, so two small steps are one whole step. Between G and A, yes, that's a whole step. Between A and B is not a half step, because A, A sharp, B, now it's a whole step. And there is no whole step between B and C, because we do not have a black key between, so we need to fix this later on, but let's first see if the rest is correct. A whole step between C and D? Yes. C, D flat, D, or C, C sharp, D. Two small steps makes a whole step. Between D and E is a whole step? Yes. And a half step between E and F we have, because between E and F is no black key. Very important to remember. Now we need to fix, because from A to B must be a half step, so we use a B flat instead. Because from A to B flat is a half step, and from B flat to C is a whole step. So F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F is the F major scale. Now, try for yourself the D major scale using the piano diagram and the formula. Feel free to pause the video if you want to try it for yourself. So, let's see. We write down the bass notes D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And now we check with the formula if we need to add sharps or flats. So, do we have a whole step between D and E? Yep. A whole step between E and F? Well, no, because there is not a black key between E and F. So from E to F is a half step. And from F to G is also not correct. Is there a whole step between G and A? Yes, there is. Whole step between A and B is correct. Whole step between B and C? No, because there is no black key between B and C, remember? And from C to D is also not a half step. So because from E to F must be a whole step, we make it an F sharp instead. And from B to C must be a whole step, so we make it a C sharp instead. And now it's correct. So today we talked about sharps and flats and how to make the major scale. It's important for you to know how to read the notes, but in the next lesson I will teach you another method to make the major scale, which I found more easy. In the next lesson we will talk more about the major scale, about key signature, the circle of fifths and dotted notes. At the end of this course you should be able to compose a simple classical melody, so if you have any questions please comment them down below. And I also have a Discord server where we can talk about music theory if someone wants that, which is in the link of the description. I'll hopefully see you in the next lesson on Friday in lesson 3 on how to compose classical music for dummies.